of you for being, as Beth said, a force for good. Isn't that such a great title? Who doesn't want to be a force for good? So congratulations to everyone in the room. So as Beth said, I'm the director of the Global Climate Circle. Sorry, I just said something. And I'm the director of engaged philanthropists who are using their resources, their passion, and their ingenuity to make the world a better place.
That was a preview of our video conference with one of our presenters. It is still there. There we go. This will take it off. Sorry about that. But hopefully it let you out.
So in this job, I'm fortunate to come across people who are doing some amazing things, like providing distance education in the Philippines, mobile clinics in Kenya, community centers in Brazil's slums. And when Seth said to me, we have this award called the Innovator and Coexistence. Is there anyone from your group that you think would be a worthy candidate for this award? The first person I thought of was Ron Bruder, who I'm going to tell you about. Unfortunately, Ron can't be here tonight. There was an illness in his family, but there's some folks from his organization, which I'll be describing to you. And I want to make sure, particularly because Ron isn't here, that you have a sense of why he's such a perfect recipient for this award. I know also that he'll receive a videotape of this, so I want him to know how much he's appreciated and respected by the folks in this room. So when I met Ron in 2004, he was a recovering entrepreneur. He had measured his success previously in bottom lines and profits, and he had recently launched a new not-for-profit venture. He had been propelled, as many people here were, by the events of September 11th, and he learned more and more about the Muslim world and some statistics about employment, particularly among young people. And it's easy for all of us to see how bleak employment prospects can turn to less productive activities. And Ron was inspired to do something. And to contribute to stability and coexistence among nations, particularly among places that are suffering from extreme conflict, Ron established the Education for Employment Foundation. EFB identifies critical skill gaps in local economies, develops and manages targeted training programs, and ensures job placement through on-the-ground partnerships with local universities and employers. When I first met Ron only 3 years ago, this was just a vision. Today, it has 4 programs underway. In Egypt, they're creating a nursing career program. In Gaza, a mini MBA in accounting and construction management. In Jordan, EFB is preparing students with soft business skills necessary to succeed in today's business culture. And in Morocco, they have a workplace success program that will be training and placing 230 students this year. Like Americans for Informed Democracy, Ron has turned tragedy into inspiration and to success for himself and many others with his vision, his tenacity, and his sense of common humanity. His work's been cited in the Financial Times, the Christian Science Monitor, The Economist, and he's also voted New York One's New Yorker of the Year, New Yorker of the Week last year for the contributions he has made to the city and to our world. Despite Ron's many accomplishments, his kindness, his humor, and his humility also really make him shine out as a person and make him a perfect recipient for this award. So I'd like to invite Jasmine Nahas de Florio, EFE's Vice President, to receive the award on Ron's behalf and to say a few words. Thank you.
Everyone. Ron is so sorry that he could not be here tonight, but he's a man who's very devoted to his family, and a medical emergency kept him away. Although he is with us in spirit, he wants to send his warm regards to all of you and congratulates all the other social entrepreneurs being honored here tonight for your inspired leadership that is changing the world. He wants to thank Seth Green and AID for everything that you do to inspire youth in this country and around the world, and also Beth Cohen, Peggy Delaney, and everyone at the Synergos Institute for really helping turn EFE into reality in a few short years. EFE has much in common with AID. It was formed after September 11th as a response to that tragedy and to encourage and promote constructive U.S. global engagement. It also focuses on youth and leadership, so we're honored to be here tonight. Ron wanted me to convey how up until he created this foundation, which we call EFE, Education for Employment, foundation. He was a serial entrepreneur. I like recovering entrepreneur better. And he's now a social entrepreneur. He gave that up, his private entrepreneurship, and he's really now focused completely on EFE. He calls it his full-time job, but the staff calls it more than his full-time job. He's completely engaged in this. He grew up in what he calls a blue-collar community in Brooklyn, and he's very grateful for what this country has given him, and he feels that he really owes it back to society and to the world, everything that this country has done for him. He was a big brother for 35 years, and Ron is a very young man, but he was a big brother for 35 years. He's very young at heart and in spirit. He saw firsthand how educational opportunity, mentoring, and guidance can radically transform an individual's outlook and also cause a ripple effect in their community around them. He himself is a recipient of student loans. He's very much a self-made man. Student loans out of Brooklyn, scholarships, and educational, practical education that prepared him for the workplace. And these are the tools that he feels are very powerful for individual transformation, and they're tools that our foundation is taking to the Middle East and North Africa, where they're very much in short supply. Ron was inspired to create EFE to take concrete action to build a more peaceful and prosperous Middle East and North Africa, and therefore world. He sees global coexistence as one of the greatest challenges facing our world. As Nehru, the first Prime Minister of independent India, said, the alternative to global coexistence is global co-destruction. And that's very much how Ron feels. He's a global citizen, he's very much a risk taker, he's an innovator, an entrepreneur at heart. He's now seeking a peace dividend. He believes that the economic dimension is crucial to building and maintaining the peace, just as it was in Northern Ireland. Starting about 10 years ago, he spent a lot of time as an entrepreneur in that country, where he saw a sea change in attitudes when the economy improved. He saw that jobs gave people pride and hope, violence subsided, and today the fact that Parliament represents people from both major religions, he believes is a direct consequence of the radically improved economic climate. What our foundation is doing is attempting to take this Irish model into the Middle East. Our foundation responds to an alarming and destabilizing 25% youth unemployment rate. This is a youth cohort that makes up 65% of the population in these countries, so it's extremely destabilizing, and it fuels extremism. We address the opportunity divide in these countries, where young people who don't have access to funding and to contacts really have a very hard time finding jobs, and also the education divide that fails to produce graduates who have a practical education that's needed to succeed in the workplace. Our foundation is innovative in two key respects. One is that we create local foundations in each country, in Egypt and Jordan and elsewhere, in partnership with business leaders, so we're not coming in as foreigners with our own agenda. We actually seek out, we spend 1 to 2 years in many places seeking out business leaders, social entrepreneurs, civil society leaders who share our vision and our sense of the problem, and we create joint foundations with them. We're also very market-driven, which is also somewhat unusual, I think, in the NGO world, that we partner with businesses, we identify skills that are in short supply, both in the companies and in the national economy, and we train young people who are disconnected youth in very practical education and place them directly in jobs. One of the places where EFE works is Gaza, very much short on hope. In addition to creating jobs there, we hope, providing hope. When we first began the program, there was a great deal of skepticism about our success prospects, but anyone who knows Ron knows that didn't stop us. Our first graduating class is now working, at the moment, unfortunately, outside of Gaza, given the situation there, but they're remitting back the majority of what they earn to support their families and their communities. And the classes are also contributing 10% of their annual salary to our foundation to support programs to help others. Ron would like to share with you a story from one of our young graduates in Gaza. His name is Rami al-Sheikh, and he's a young Palestinian living there who grew up in the turmoil of Gaza, lost his father when he was in high school, leaving him, his mother, and 8 brothers and sisters economically destitute. Through his sheer determination, he managed to not only complete high school, but earn a college degree at the top of his class in accounting. Despite that accomplishment, like so many other youth in the area, he was unemployed for over a year, literally roaming the streets of Gaza, nothing to do, feeling like he was a great burden on his family, and very much in despair. He heard about our program last year and signed up for the mini MBA in accounting, which was 3 months of very intensive practical skills in accounting, business judgment, communications, English, and loved the program. Right after graduation, we secured a job for him at the largest construction company in the Middle East called CCC. He's now working there as an accountant. And he feels that his income is helping his family and that his experience will benefit his entire community back home. He plans to return to Gaza when he's established to start up a company to build the accounting and management skills of youth. He says, "Before I took this course, my future was filled with ambiguity, but now I'm on the right path. My main objective was to become a useful person for my community, and this course helped me to achieve that." And he also says that soaring unemployment has a huge impact on the conflict, and that in his words, "The future of the country depends on our ability to develop ourselves. Work is very important for any human being to build the future and help our families. I am sure that everyone wants to walk the same road as I have. All we need is the kind of help that I found." Just this week in Egypt, Rami fulfilled one of his greatest dreams, something that he himself says he never could have done without economic security. He got married. He says, "Now that I have my job, I feel reborn, and now I have my life." So Ron sees his own life experience reflected in that of Rami and so many other EFE alumni who, through their own hard work and access to education and jobs, are transforming their lives. And all of us at EFE very much share Ron's passion for this work. We're not just staff, we're great fans of both Ron and the foundation. And it's really an honor for me to be here. Again, Ron wants to thank all of you tonight, congratulate all the awardees, and thank Seth Green and Beth Cohen. Thank you.